Welcome back to the Christian J Show, The Crime Chronicles. On September 11, 2001, the world changed forever. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost, countless families shattered, and the course of history was altered in ways we still feel today. This is the story of 9/11. Not just the attacks themselves, but the human courage, the grief, and the legacy that continues to shape our lives. It was a clear Tuesday morning in New York City. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 17 minutes later at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower. Millions watched live as the unthinkable unfolded. At 9:37 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 hit the Pentagon. And at 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, brought down by passengers who fought back against the hijackers. By 10:28 a.m., both towers had collapsed. In less than 2 hours, the skyline of New York and the sense of America's security was changed forever. Amid the chaos, stories of bravery emerged. Firefighters, police officers, and everyday civilians rushed into the danger to save others. Nearly 350 firefighters and 60 police officers gave their lives that day. On Flight 93, passengers like Todd Beamer, who famously said, "Let's roll," fought to prevent the plane from reaching its intended target, believed to be the U.S. Capitol. Their sacrifice saved countless lives. In the days that followed, grief blanketed the nation. Vigils were held, flags flew at half staff, and communities came together in mourning. But there was also resilience. First responders worked tirelessly at ground zero, searching for survivors and later recovering remains. The attacks led to sweeping changes: the creation of the Department of Homeland Security, the passage of the Patriot Act, and wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. For many, 9/11 marked the beginning of a new era defined by heightened security and global conflict. 20 years later, the memory of 9/11 remains vivid. The 9/11 Memorial and a museum in New York City stands as a place of reflection. Each year, the names of the victims are read aloud, ensuring that they are never forgotten. But beyond memorials, the legacy lives in the stories of loss, of heroism, and of unity. For a brief moment, the world stood together in grief and solidarity. That spirit is something that we can carry forward even in times of division. Now, I wasn't alive during 9/11, but I've heard countless stories. I've watched countless videos because in school we would always take that time out of doing like everyday work, and we would be focused on 9/11 because I remember in our history class we would watch a video on 9/11, and then like when I was like in primary school and everything, we would have like a coloring sheet of the trade center and everything, and we would color that. But when I was in school and I watched the videos, I could not imagine being in 2001 on that day watching it live. And then to be in New York City at that time and watching it from the street or my apartment or something. I just can't imagine watching that because, first of all, here's something that everyone in New York City knows, everyone across America knows this is the high point of New York City. When you think about New York City, you think about the Statue of Liberty, and you think about the World Trade Center. Those those are the two things that you think about when you think about New York City. And then for me to be watching that and watching both towers come down, I, I just can't even imagine that. And I want to thank the firefighters and the police officers and everyday citizens who risked their lives to save others. That is something that it makes you stop and think about people, the risk people would take to save others. And then the other plane hit the Pentagon. Like, that was crazy. And then the other plane, the passengers fought to get into the cockpit, fight off the hijackers. It, it's like, well, if, I'm at a loss for words, like, because I can't even imagine doing that. No, okay, I might die today. I'm gonna stop them from hitting something else. All I can say is the people who lost their lives, my heart goes out to their families. The the firefighters, the police officers who lost their lives or who are still alive today, but they're still alive today, and they remember that my heart goes out to you. Thank you. I, to everyone who lost someone in 9/11, my heart goes out to you. Because one thing about you never think the last that will be the last time you see your mother or your father or whoever, your sister, your brother, your son, your daughter. You never think about, is that gonna be the last time you see them? And then for the nation to be one, for America to be one. Like, there was no white, no black, oh, you this, you that. No, there was none of that. Everyone was together in unity, unified. You're one nation. One nation. Forget the division, forget everything else. You were one nation, and you came together. The fact that something like that had to happen just for the nation to come together, nothing like that should ever happen again for the nation to sit there and come together. Nothing like that should ever happen again. Nothing. And I mean absolutely nothing. This has been the story of 9/11, a day of tragedy, but also of courage. As we remember, let us honor the lives lost, the heroes who rose in the face of danger, and the resilience of communities who refuse to be broken. I'm your host, Christian J, and thank you for listening.